Hey there, I'm Roben-Marie Smith, and I love doing the 100-Day Project. I am getting ready in 2022 to do it for the sixth year. And each time I have learned things along the way. Planning is very important, pre-planning, getting organized. And this year I got to thinking how nice it would be to have a workbook or some kind of a tracker to really write things down, document things as I go. How am I feeling about the project? What things have I learned? What's gone well? What hasn't gone well? And also just track the days. So like most things, out of necessity, you come up with an idea. So I've created a workbook and a tracker for the 100-Day Project. What started out as something really small has turned into about 65 pages. So I want to give you a sneak peek and kind of thumb through it for you so that you can see all that is offered inside the workbook and the tracker. And if anything, you can just print a few of the pages that you want to use and just read the rest on the screen, on your computer or your iPad. And hopefully you'll find this a very helpful tool in getting started. And the cool thing about it is it's not dated, so you can use this anytime. So let's say you're starting the 100-Day Project in April or May. It's cool. You can do it. And you can still use this workbook and then just date the pages based on the time that you start. All right, let's go and take a look at the workbook and tracker. I'm excited to do a walkthrough of the 100-Day Project workbook and tracker. I printed a copy for myself and it's coil bound so that I can actually work in it and use it during the project. So I want to walk through this with you really quick. We got a cover here, and then there's a welcome, and then it's separated by sections. So the first section is project details and tips. So we've got a get started, different steps in getting started. And then I also have this broken down where I've given you just those different things are broken down now specifically. Here's what you do: sign up for the newsletter, join the community, and just so forth. Next, I've given you ideas to help you have success and enjoy the process. On our benefits of doing an art challenge, and then part 2 of that, and then a little quote in here to kind of keep you motivated. And then the second section is planning your project. So in here, I've given you project ideas, and I've broken it down by topics like fabric and stitching, painting, watercolor, and so forth, just to help give you a jumping off point. Next, we have a getting started questionnaire. So it asks questions like, what is my goal? Do I want to play, practice, or produce? Play means you just want to get in there in your space and you just want to have fun and you just want to play. Practice is you have a skill that you want to improve on, something you really want to try but get better at. And then produce is perhaps where you want to create something every single day. Maybe it's for your portfolio, or maybe it's something that you're planning on selling in your shop. That would be produce. So there's different questions here to help you get an idea of what you want to do. And then there's my idea and category and ideas for jotting down all the notes about the different things that you have in mind. And there's 2 pages for that. There's a page for notes, a couple pages for notes, and then supplies and materials. You can jot those down here. And then there's a swatching sheet where you can actually swatch out, or if you wanted to take your swatches and staple or glue them in, you could do that as well. Another quote, section 3, tracking your progress. So here's a project tracker. If you only use this, then just print that page out, and then you can mark off each day all the way to 100 to keep track of your progress. Now, for every single week, we have a weekly planner page and a weekly review page. The weekly planner pages are for you to jot down notes on each of the days. You can put the date in here for the week, whatever that week is. Weekly goals, any priorities, reviews, and then there's a space for notes at the bottom. Now, the weekly review they're always going to be together, so you'll have one for each week. Things like questions to answer. What did you learn? What did you enjoy most and least about this past week? How do you feel about the progress that you're making? What are some things you've experienced this past week? What are some key things you've learned? And then what are your intentions for the next week? And so that is available for every single week of the project. And then at next part of that is a social media content ideas. So sometimes it's hard to come up with the captions for Instagram. And so in case you get stuck, I've given you a graph here or a chart here of different ideas you can pull from. Section 4 is reflecting on the project. So this is important as well, right? You've done the project now, and this is your opportunity to reflect on how things went in the year. And what would you do differently the next time you commit to the project? There's a sheet as a project review. This is where you can answer questions that are related specifically to the overall project. What did you learn from the project? How do you feel about how things went in the project itself? What did you learn? Would you consider doing this again? Why or why not? And then there's a sheet for turning points and those aha moments. Things like, did you discover anything along the way? What issues did you experience and how did you handle them? So there's some things you can document there. And then what ideas were generated while you did this project? Did you come up with ideas for projects or for a class or anything that you want to do in the future? Document those, and there's a space for notes. Next is resources and inspiration. Now this comes in more handy in the PDF download because all of these items are linked. The 100-day project, this is for you to sign up for their newsletter and all the details about the project. This is a podcast episode called Creating Your 100-Day Project with, it's on the Art Juice podcast. Excellent discussion about the project and what to do. And then here we have a link to get to Instagram to start following and make your commitment on what you're going to do. And then we have a podcast episode, How to Create Your Own Online Art Challenge. That was the Creatives Get Real podcast, and that one's very informative. Now, again, there's links in here that only work in the PDF. I've shown or listed my 6 years of doing the 100-day project, and you can click over and see all of my projects. And I even have a spot in here for this year's project as well. And then just some final thoughts and a copyright notice for the PDF. All right, so if you have any questions at all, please let me know. And I hope that this has been informative for you and that you maybe feel like this could be something that you could use to really help you through the process of the project, getting it planned, keeping yourself organized, tracking everything, and just being able to look at this later and have a really good feel for how things went and whether you want to do this again. All right, thanks so much, and let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.